Welcome back to the June Practice Challenge. This week I will be talking about returning to competition, which I know we're really all so excited about in the United States. And I'll be talking about the morning of competition day routine. I know this is something that can be a bit of a struggle for some dancers. I was always a dancer that got very nervous before I competed, and so sometimes I had difficulty warming up as much as I should have, or making sure that I was eating the right foods. So now as a teacher, I've really learned that it's a great idea, depending on the age of the dancer, for the dancer, the parent, and the teacher to all sit down and discuss together and come to an agreement upon a good morning routine for competition days. So the first thing that you want to discuss and decide upon is when to arrive at the competition. Of course, you can't always control this, but it's good to plan to arrive at least 1.5 hours before the dancing will begin, maybe more, again, depending on your dancer. So all of this can be customized to the dancer's needs, but it's just good to have something you've agreed upon and know what to expect. So the first thing that's great to start with is a warm-up. If the dancer has trouble kind of standing up and moving on their own, then it's great to have a set warm-up that you always like to do, whether that's bouncing to a fling, or basic movements, any other kind of exercise like that. It's always a good idea too to have music that you like, that you can bring along and dance to that, just to get you moving and get your muscles warm. After that, it's a good idea to move into a stretching routine. So have a set of stretches that you like to do. My favorite was always to start with making sure I do some turnout stretches, butterfly stretches. The turnout stretch that's my favorite is like this, where we stack our knees on top. But again, you can do whatever works for you. A point and flex stretch, and then a V-set sit stretch is good. I always like to also fully stretch out for leaps and high cuts, even if I wasn't doing those in my first dance. It's good to have your hips nice and warmed up and ready to turn out. Then after stretching, it's a good idea to do a dance or at least several steps through. And this was something that I was really resistant to. As a dancer, I was always so worried that, oh, I'm gonna get tired out and then not have the stamina and strength that I need for the competition. But I learned over time that that was not the truth. And really it was always my dance-off dance that would end up being the best dance of the day, even if I was 4, 5, or 8 dances into the day. So I really, really recommend this. If you are doing set steps, then I would say to dance your full, if you're doing short steps, dance your full fling through with your 4 steps. If you're in a championship, then it might make sense to break it up into sets of 2 steps at a time or 3 steps at a time to music. Once that's done, then it's a great time to stop and have a snack and power up for the competition. Nutrition is another thing that you need to agree on ahead of time, and have some safe foods that you know you'll be able to eat on the day of. That was another thing I was resistant to as a dancer. I was nervous. I felt nauseous. I didn't want to eat, but I learned over time that you really, really need to eat. So figure out what's gonna work for you and what you'll be able to handle eating that morning. You also want to have a sports drink or something other than water that you can drink throughout the day of competition. And then it's time to get dressed and get ready to go. So the most important thing is just that you have something agreed upon ahead of time, so that on the day of competition you don't have any arguing, you don't have any conflict, and everyone knows what to expect. So thanks so much for joining me for this week, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Don't forget to track your practices for a chance to win a fun prize for the month of June.